This is Replicant Fish. Welcome back. Glad you could join me again. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying this Easter weekend, of which I honestly did not know. Then again, I don't celebrate most holidays. I have a child, so certain holidays I make sure I get him some presents. But I hope you're enjoying your weekend either way. Be you renovating your home, renovating yourself, your life, so that you feel better, working out, enjoying your hobbies, playing some games. Interestingly enough, and as I've said before, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, the biohazard. Strangely enough, a story about a single woman being chased by a monster during a pandemic. It somehow relates to current situations, wouldn't you say? And it relates especially to an article I have today, how the biohazard has made me feel more single than ever. But the interesting thing with this article is, it's from March 16th. This is before the lockdown. So the point is, to see and understand certain thoughts of certain single women before the lockdown even occurred. Because some of these things we know as men. We understand the reaction, we know this. But still, it's always interesting to point out certain facts, to bring them to the forefront, if you will. To confirm certain things that some of us more mature bastards know, and also to educate some of you younger bastards, in the hope some of you, most of you, do not make the mistakes many of us have made. And the point is, it's not to be bitter or hateful. That's not the point. There's no hate here. I have no hate to promote. It's more a sense of care of self, understanding of self. And to simply understand something most of us as men know already, that we have to care for self. Because if we slip, if we fall, if we drop the ball, no one is going to care. More the point why you as a man should understand why you should care, and not let people in the world take advantage of you as a man. Be you a young, eager, thirsty man, or a more mature man who has his life together, yet some have to fight off women as if they're actual zombies in this pandemic. Get off me, woman! Back, woman! Somewhat like the game Bloodborne on the PS4. You know, you wave a torch at a woman. Back, woman! Back, demon! Joke, it's a joke. Oh man. But let's begin. From Refinery29.com by Nicola Slawson from March 16th, 2020. Biohazard, the nemesis, has made me feel more single than ever. I'm 35 and have been single for the majority of the last 7 years. In that time, I have been to countless weddings, bachelorette parties, and family gatherings on my own. Oh, oh, that's so sad. Always the bridesmaid or the random chick on the side, never the bride. Yeah? Seriously, come on, seriously. And yet, I've never felt more single than I do right now. This is so sad. Oh my god. Get some tissues, man. Get some tissues. If you can actually get your hands on any, but yeah, seriously. As the world is gripped by the biohazard pandemic, I am facing up to the fact that if we get put in lockdown, so as I was saying, this is before the lockdown, so pay attention, listen, that if we get put in lockdown, I will be stuck in my flat all by myself. This is so bad. Oh my god. Don't laugh, don't laugh. Loneliness aside, if I get sick, nobody will be able to come over and look after me. Wow, a strong, independent, modern woman still needs taking care of. That's weird. That's new. Yeah, interesting, let's carry on. The thought of this has made my anxiety skyrocket in the last few days, and for someone who often advocates for single positivity, you don't sound it now, love, you sound scared. Oh my god, that's wrong, that's wrong. It's difficult to face up to the fact that, right now, part of me wishes I had a partner who was forced, look at the wording, forced to stay by my side in sickness and in health. That is terrifying. More so than the pandemic. No, come on, no. But look at this. I've pointed out before the wording certain women use in these situations. How when they become afraid, their wordings change in a sense. And in a sense, you see how positive she was, single and positive woman, when the world was normal, you know, civilization was running. But now it's not, now she needs a man. I've proven this point as well with a few videos back with a feminist making the same point. How even being a strong, independent, single woman feminist, when the biohazard hit, they then realized, oh, I may need a man. one forced to stay by my side. And you wonder why I say, run. Run for your damned lives. Flee, men. Like many others, I have been glued to the news in recent days, and while I have seen articles with tips on how to cope with self-isolation if you live in a shared house or with children, I have seen little out there for the 7.7 million people in the UK who live on their own. Well, you're hearing from me, a single man who lives on his own. Yes, within the walls of his fortress of solitude, indeed. Currently rebuilding his studio lair. But yeah, let's carry on. But enjoying the peace and tranquility, the echoing of my words against my walls, the reverberations, yes, indeed. Unlike if you have a woman around sometimes, she seems to soak up all the sound because it's not your own space, So of the 7.7 million supposed single people, I'm fine. I'm sure so are many other single men. The point I've been making is that it seems to affect the women more than us as men, strangely enough, interestingly enough, but for reasons we all know. But let's carry on. The attitude seems to be that we will be fine. We'll find it easy to isolate ourselves. I just wish people would spare a thought for those who are on their own, because any period of lockdown or quarantine is going to feel particularly daunting if you have no other half to ride it out with. Yes, you need a ride or die chick in the quarantine. Yeah, no thank you. I prefer to ride it out by myself. Less stressful, less daunting as well. And you know what? I know I do sound like an android who does store his heart in a fridge to keep it chilled. But the point is, do you see how many women are struggling with this situation? And to understand why some couples right now are struggling, even if the man may be okay, the woman may be struggling to cope with what's going on. Thus, it may cause pressure and stress in the relationship. Thus, it may cause problems during this lockdown if you're stuck in the house with the other half. Certain women seem to be missing right now. And the point is, as you all know, many of us as men are fine. We are actually enjoying, to a degree, certain things. Indeed. But many women aren't. OnlyFans? If only some people knew. Let's carry on. I already have the triple whammy of being freelance, living alone, and being single, which is good if you're a man. But I'm always very careful to schedule coffee dates, dinner, or drinks with friends, and other events to ensure I have reason to leave my house, and some social interaction. Now, as many of us know, girls just want to have fun. You see, yes, of course, many women are recluse themselves, but a lot are very social, more than a large majority of men. They love to talk and just go on and on, just talking about nothing for hours upon hours on end. And it's to understand, many women, they don't like being by themselves for too long, being in their own thoughts for too long. As in, to understand the dynamics of the way certain women's minds work, it's then you understand how some men seem to have women doing many things for them rather than them simping for the woman. So the point I'm making with this ramble is, for as strong and independent as women claim to be, many women do need the reassurance of a man being there, a somewhat more logical person, someone of which certain women can actually bounce off and actually iron out certain problems they may have by laying them on a man. Interesting, isn't it? When the world is running well, they can act as if men are useless. Yet, as I have shown, in men just being there, how we change a woman's life. I hope you as a man see and understand this. Let's carry on. Even though our government has not yet told us all to stay in, it has now. I am getting emails and WhatsApp messages cancelling events each day. And I have this terrible feeling that the net is closing in. Ooh. While I'm lucky not to be in one of those more vulnerable categories due to my age and good physical health, yeah, so she says, seriously. I also know what happens when I'm stuck by myself for too long. And I have heard this so many times throughout my life from women. So many times, so often. The interesting thing is, now what's going on, it becomes more easier to understand, more clear to understand. It's like knowing it is one thing, but when you can see the results of it, it's more real, more tangible, more intriguing, is it not? And it's to understand as well why women just like to bother men sometimes. Because sometimes they have nothing to do. Sometimes they're just bored. And it's not just boredom in a sense of not having anything to do. It's that mixed with how they're feeling in the boredom. And then to understand why women use certain things to self-medicate. Alcohol, smoking, food, sex, attention. Understand how all of those things, plus more, alter her mood, which is something many women need quite often. A few years ago, I lived in Berlin for a short period. I went through one of the worst periods of depression in my life, and it started with being off sick and stuck at home in my studio flat. Oh, look at that, modern independent women problems. Stuck in your studio flat, oh, poor dear. I barely knew anyone in the city and didn't want to put new friends out, so I didn't ask for help. The week dragged on, but when I felt better, I found myself unable to leave my bed for a different reason. I was doing a placement and my job said it was okay not to come in, so I didn't. So she didn't. I almost wish they had made me, because I spent the next few weeks lying on my bed, binge watching Gilmore Girls while eating takeaway and feeling so alone that I swear it physically hurts. Now obviously, loneliness is something both men and women can understand. The difference is, many men have had no choice but to learn what it's like to live alone, to be alone, to be by themselves. You see, as men, for the most part, we're the ones that approach. Women get approached. So understand this. In a sense, by nature, many of us as modern men are naturally built to be able to live alone and to actually be comfortable, whereas many women aren't. Thus, where we find bliss and comfort, many of them find hurt and pain. They have not learnt to live with themselves. While not every person who is single also has mental health issues, loneliness and social isolation has very real consequences. It's more than simply missing being around people. Research shows that isolation can have huge knock-on effects on both mental and physical health. Studies have found loneliness as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Yet strangely enough, many men have learnt to actually cope with being in their own space. I wonder if that's a grand difference, that we have learnt to be in our own space, in our own company. And this is my point, men. Why I say certain things, why I remind you of certain things, even if I know you know this already. I know this already, yet still, it's good to remind oneself as to why they have the life they have, why they should embrace and feel blessed in the life they have and have chosen. Because you see it, when push comes to shove, the one who is needed the most is you, us, as men. And for years, even before me, men have been saying, you are the prize. You are the prize. You are the prize. You. But many men are so fooled and so simpish to think the woman is the prize, simply because of how much they want the woman. But as you all can see, when crap hits the fan, when push comes to shove, whom needs whom? Then ask yourself again, as you remind yourself, whom is the prize? Not to be arrogant, not to be an arrogant, masculine bastard, awesome as well, you know, as many of us are. It's just to remember that, to see why one should and has to work so hard for the self. Because whether you want tons of women or none of them, it still matters what you have done in your life as a man. What you are building for you, regardless of the woman. The truth is, as some of you know, it's not about the woman. No sir, bro, it's about you. It's about you. You make it about the woman when you see less value in you. In other words, focus, observe, remember. The world is yours. Have a nice day.